Echoes in neon, the shadow among us. Neon Heights was a city that never slept, where the night sky was a perpetual twilight painted by towering holograms and the ceaseless glow of neon signs. Skyscrapers stretched like metallic giants, their glass facades reflecting the chaos below. The air was thick with the hum of hovercars zipping through skyways, and the distant thrum of bass-heavy music from underground clubs. Amidst the sea of cybernetically enhanced humans and androids, a figure moved unseen. Echo, as he was known, was a relic from a forgotten era, a Bigfoot navigating the concrete jungle. Standing over 8 feet tall, his form was cloaked in a mantle woven from the fibers of ancient trees and augmented with adaptive camouflage technology. His eyes, deep and reflective, absorbed the kaleidoscope of lights without betraying his presence. Echo had adapted to this new world, learning to hide in its blind spots. He slipped through alleyways and leaped across rooftops with a grace that belied his size. The city was a labyrinth, but he knew its every twist and turn, every forgotten tunnel and hidden passage. While the citizens of Neon Heights were glued to their virtual realities, Echo moved through the physical one, unseen and unheard, the hidden Eden. Beneath the pulsating heart of the city lay the catacombs of a bygone age, a network of tunnels and chambers abandoned and all but forgotten. Here, Echo had carved out a sanctuary. Using salvaged tech and his own ingenuity, he had created an underground Eden. Bioluminescent plants bathed the caverns in a soft, ethereal glow. Vines clung to the walls and a small waterfall fed a crystal-clear pool. This haven was sustained by a fusion of nature and technology. Solar panels repurposed from scrap-powered grow lights and environmental controls. Echo tended to his garden with reverence, his massive hands delicate as he pruned leaves and coaxed new life from the soil. This was his refuge, a piece of the world that once was, preserved beneath the feet of those who had forgotten it. But the sanctuary was dying. The ancient machines he relied upon were failing, and spare parts were scarce. To save his Eden, Echo would have to venture deeper into the heart of Neon Heights than ever before, a chance encounter. One night, as acid rain fell in sheets and the city's denizens sought shelter in their virtual escapisms, Echo emerged from the depths. Clad in his cloak, he became a wraith amid the steam and shadows. His destination, the industrial sector, where the factories and warehouses of Omnitech sprawled like a mechanical beast. Meanwhile, Nova, a brilliant hacker with a reputation that echoed through the darkest corners of the net, was on the run. She clutched a data chip tightly in her cybernetic hand, her heart pounding in rhythm with the alarm klaxons that blared behind her. The chip contained the key to dismantling Omnitech's control over the city's neural network, a weapon that could free the minds of millions. As Nova darted through the maze of cargo containers, she felt the oppressive presence of Omnitech's enforcers closing in. Clad in exoskeletal armor and armed with high-powered rifles, they were relentless. She slid into an alley, only to find it blocked by a towering, fence-trapped shadow moved at the edge of her vision. Before she could react, one of the enforcers was yanked into the darkness, his weapon clattering to the ground. Confusion rippled through the squad as Echo descended upon them with ferocity and precision. Bullets whizzed past him, but he moved with uncanny agility, disarming and disabling the enforcers with brutal efficiency. Nova watched in awe and terror as the last enforcer fell. Echo turned toward her, their eyes meeting. For a moment, time stood still. Then, without a word, he vanished into the shadows, leaving Nova alone in the rain-soaked alley into the depths. Haunted by her mysterious savior, Nova was determined to find him. She tapped into the city's vast network of surveillance cameras, hacking past firewalls and security protocols. Hours blurred as she pieced together fragments of footage, glitches, and anomalies that, when aligned, traced a path into the Undercity. Equipped with only her wits and a handheld EMP device, Nova ventured into the depths. The air grew warmer, the sounds of the city fading into a distant hum. She followed a faint trail, guided by flickering lights and the faint scent of greenery, an impossibility in Neon Heights. She stepped into Echo's sanctuary, her eyes widening at the sight. It was like stepping into another world, a lush, vibrant ecosystem hidden beneath the steel and concrete. Plants of every kind flourished, their leaves glistening with moisture. The gentle sound of water and the hum of machinery created a soothing melody. Echo emerged from the shadows, his posture wary but not hostile. "You found me," he said, his voice a deep rumble. the unlikely alliance. Over the course of hours that felt like moments, Nova and Echo shared their stories. She spoke of the digital shackles Omnitech had placed on the city, how the corporation manipulated thoughts and emotions through the neural network. Echo listened, his expression somber. In turn, he shared his tale, a being from the old world, a guardian of nature in a time when nature was all but extinct. He spoke of the gradual encroachment of technology, the loss of balance, and his mission to preserve what little remained. We are both outcasts, Nova mused. Both fighting against a system that wants to control everything. Echo nodded. Perhaps together we can change it. They devised a plan ambitious and perilous. They would infiltrate Omnitech Tower, the corporation's impregnable fortress, and broadcast the data from the chip to the entire city. It was a suicide mission, but the stakes were too high to ignore the infiltration. Under the cover of a simulated system malfunction, a distraction orchestrated by Nova, the duo made their move. Echo led them through forgotten tunnels that surfaced within the perimeter of Omnitech Tower. The air was electric with tension as they navigated the maze of corridors, avoiding patrols and security drones. Inside the tower, sleek surfaces and stark lighting created an oppressive atmosphere. Nova interfaced with terminals, her fingers dancing over holographic keys as she bypassed security systems. Echo stood guard, his senses attuned to the slightest disturbance. They reached the central hub, a vast chamber where the city's neural network converged. Holographic displays floated in the air, streams of data cascading like digital waterfalls. Nova connected the data chip. Initiating the upload alarms blared instantly. Security breach detected. A cold, synthetic voice echoed, engaging lockdown protocols. Bulkhead doors slammed shut, and automated turrets emerged from the ceiling. Echo sprang into action, using his immense strength to shield Nova and disable the turrets. Omnitech's elite enforcers flooded into the chamber, their eyes glowing with augmented vision. "Keep them off me," Nova shouted over the chaos, her focus entirely on the upload progress bar inching forward, agonizingly slowly. Echo fought like a force of nature. He moved with a fluidity that belied his size, every movement purposeful. Enforcers fell under his blows, their advanced armor cracking like glass, but sheer numbers began to overwhelm him. The stand. As the upload neared completion, the room filled with smoke and the acrid smell of burning circuits. Echo sustained injuries, deep gashes from plasma blades and scorch marks from energy weapons. Still, he held the line. 10 seconds, Nova yelled, sweat dripping down her face. An enforcer broke through. Raising his weapon toward Nova, Echo reacted instinctively. Placing himself between them, the weapon discharged, a searing bolt of energy striking him square in the chest. He staggered but remained standing, upload complete. Nova cried out triumphantly. She hit the execute command and the data surged into the network. Across Neon Heights, every screen flickered, displaying the schematics and a message calling for resistance. The city's populace paused, the veil lifting from their minds as the neural control was disrupted. But victory came at a price. More enforcers stormed the chamber, and escape routes were cut off. Echo and Nova were surrounded. "There's no way out," Nova whispered, her eyes meeting Echo's. He placed a hand on her shoulder. "There is always a way, the sacrifice." Echo activated a device on his belt, a pulsating orb that began to emit a low-frequency hum. "When I give the signal, run," he instructed. "What are you doing?" Nova protested. "Trust me." The enforcers closed in, weapons trained on them. Echo slammed the orb onto the ground, and it exploded in a burst of blinding light and sonic energy. The enforcers staggered, their systems overloaded. "Go now," Echo urged. Nova hesitated, but knew there was no time to argue. She sprinted toward a maintenance hatch that Echo had unsealed earlier. Behind her, she heard the sounds of renewed combat as Echo engaged the recovering enforcers. She navigated the tower's underbelly, emerging into the night just as the city's power grid fluctuated, the result of the widespread data surge. Screens continued to broadcast the call to arms, and the city was awakening the awakening. In the days that followed, Neon Heights transformed. The populace, now free from Omnitech's influence, rallied together. Protests erupted, and the corporation's hold crumbled under the weight of mass dissent. People began tearing down the omnipresent advertisements and surveillance cameras, reclaiming their city. Nova became a symbol of the revolution, her actions inspiring others to take up the cause. Yet, amidst the celebrations, she searched for any sign of Echo. The Undercity was empty, his sanctuary abandoned, but untouched, a testament to his hope that nature might thrive again. Rumors spread of a giant scene aiding those in need, a guardian spirit of the city. Some dismissed it as myth, but Nova knew better. Echo was out there, continuing the fight in his own way. The Echo lives on. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the city's lights began to flicker on, Nova stood atop a building overlooking the transformed neon heights. Green spaces had begun to appear, community gardens, rooftop forests, and parks where steel and concrete once reigned. "You've done well," a familiar voice rumbled behind her. She turned to see Echo, his form silhouetted against the glow of the city. Relief and joy washed over her. "You're alive." He nodded. "Thanks to you, the city is changing." "It's just the beginning," Nova replied. "There's so much more to do." Echo stepped forward, gazing out over the skyline. "The balance is returning, but there are others who will resist this change. Then we'll face them together," she said firmly. He looked at her, a hint of a smile in his eyes. "Perhaps our paths will cross again." "Wait," Nova said, reaching out. "Stay, be a part of this new world." Echo shook his head gently. "My place is on the fringes where the shadows linger. There are others like me who need help." She understood. "Then this isn't goodbye." "No," he agreed, "only until next time." With that, he leapt from the rooftop, disappearing into the urban wilderness. The Legend of Echo. The story of Echo and Nova became legend, a tale told in hushed whispers and roaring gatherings alike. The Bigfoot of Neon Heights was a symbol of resilience, a reminder of the power that lay in harmony between nature and technology. Under Nova's guidance, the city continued to evolve. She led initiatives to integrate green technology, turning the once cold metropolis into a thriving ecosystem. Buildings were retrofitted with living walls and powered by renewable energy. The air grew cleaner, the skies clearer, but whenever darkness threatened to reclaim the city, sightings of a giant figure would emerge, vigilantes saved from certain death, children guided safely home, saboteurs thwarted in their attempts to undermine progress. Echo had become the guardian of Neon Heights, a silent protector whose presence ensured that the city would never again forget the lessons it had learned. In a quiet corner of a rejuvenated park, a child looked up at his mother. "Do you think he's real?" he asked, pointing to a mural depicting Echo amidst a vibrant forest. She smiled. "Perhaps. Or maybe he's the echo of our own conscience, reminding us to care for our world and each other." As they walked away deep in the shadows of the trees, a pair of reflective eyes watched over the city, a guardian ever vigilant, ever present.